everyone. In this video we're going to go over how to hit the driver for beginners in golf. And you might say to yourself, I'm not really a beginner, but the basics that we're going to go over are a great review, and it's going to help anybody that uses their driver during the course of a round. So smash that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, thank me if this helped improve how you drive the golf ball, contribute to the ongoing success of my YouTube channel, and comment. These things help in more ways than you know. So the first thing I want to go over is how the driver differs from every other club in our bag that we hit. And at my golf schools, what I teach is we have the driver and then everything else. And the reason is everything else is either very low on a tee, if I'm on a par 3 or something like that, or it's on the ground. And so to hit an efficient golf shot, I want to actually hit down. It doesn't matter if it's a wedge, an iron, hybrids, fairway woods. I want to hit down to make the ball go up into the air. Well, when I put the driver in my hand, think about what we're going to see now. We're going to see the ball relatively high on a tee, and we're going to go over just exactly how high we should tee it. But we're going to see the ball up in the air higher on a tee, and so we actually want to hit up on the driver. So it's completely different than the geometry that we're trying to create with when the ball's on the ground or very low on a tee. And so that's why I say, hey, we have the driver and then everything else. So the next thing I want to go over, there's a lot of setup little tweaks, like we're using the same golf swing, but we're using it a little differently, and we're changing the setup to allow us to go ahead and hit up on the driver. So let's dive right into it. The first question, whether it's with beginners or whether it's with more accomplished golfers, that I get at my golf schools when we get to the driver is how high should I tee the driver? And what I like to see is I like to see about half to 3/4 of the ball above the top line of the driver. So this would be the top line of the driver, and when I set it down behind this ball, you can see about half to 3/4 of that ball above the top line of the driver. Now, you might be somebody who says, hey, I've tried to tee it that high, and every time I do, I pop it up. Well, then we instantly know without a TrackMan, without any measuring device, that you hit down on the golf ball. So some of these adjustments might help you to not pop it up when you tee it high. And one of the reasons I like to see it teed so high is hand-eye coordination, athleticism. People generally, not always, but generally want to hit up on it more when they see it teed higher. So the first thing we're going to do, get that ball about a half to 3/4 above the top line of the driver. Now the next adjustment we need to make, different from when the ball's on the ground or very low on a tee, is we need to adjust our ball position. And there's really a dual purpose for this. One is you can see, if you look at your driver relative to all the other clubs in your bag, it's the longest club in your bag. So I need time for that club to get to the bottom of its arc, to square. So being a longer club, I definitely need to push it more forward in my stance. And so for me as a lefty, I'm going to get it more towards my right foot. If you're a right-handed player, you're going to get it more towards your left foot, or just think of the lead foot, lead being the one closest to the target. So we're going this way, or I'm going this way right now. I'm going to have that ball much closer as a lefty to my right foot. Now, as I said, it has a dual purpose. One, I've got to adjust for the length of this club. The other thing is when I get that ball further forward, my arms in the club are only so long, so at some point you can see that club starts working back up into the air. So I'm adjusting for the length of the club, and this also, having the ball forward or the proper ball position, helps me to hit more up on the golf ball. And there's science behind it. You don't have to hit up on the golf ball to hit a successful drive. I think that's kind of a thought in some people's head. You can hit down on it. But the reason we get our students hitting up on the golf ball with the drivers, there's a distance benefit. And especially at the speed that I see most students that come to my golf school swing at. Tour players swinging as fast as they do, they can hit up, they can hit down, they can do whatever they want. When we start to get slower swing speed, there's definitely a distance benefit to hitting more up on the driver. And so when we look at the tours, the PGA Tour, the average attack angle or how up or down they hit is down 1.3. When you get to the ladies tour, they're actually hitting up 3.4 degrees as an average. So slower swing speed on the LPGA than the PGA Tour, so definitely a benefit to optimize distance to hit more up versus down. All right, so I know I need to tee it 1/2 to 3/4 of the way above the top line of the driver. I know I need to move it forward in my stance. What's another thing that I can do to help me hit less down, more up on it? We know that there's a distance benefit to the majority of people that play golf. And the easiest thing to do is to create, or to help us to do this, is to create just a little bit of tilt. Now, a lot of times I'll tell people to tilt in my golf schools, and what do I see? I see them lean. It's not a lean, it's a tilt. And the easiest way to tilt my spine is if I just look up at the clouds in front of me, or the tops of these trees in front of me, or you could just put a club across your shoulders and I'm just pointing that club up to the sky. So that's a proper tilt. So those are really the 3 keys that I want you to have as a beginner or even as an accomplished player, is tee the ball high enough. Could promote us to hit up on it, not a guarantee, but it certainly can. The other thing is I want the ball forward in your stance, so your lead foot, that'll be my right foot as a lefty, your left foot as a righty. And then I'm going to create a little tilt of the shoulders. The easiest way, right before I tee off, I'm going to look up to the sky, look at those clouds, gives me a nice little tilt, and the result is hopefully going to be me hitting up on it, hitting it solid, hitting it with some distance. So let's do that. I'm going to put all these keys together in a golf swing, and then what I want to do is I'm going to give you a way to kind of get your swing started as a drill and kind of work up to some full swings, which I'm going to show you right now, a full swing. All right. And this should really be like a checklist. You should have this mental checklist of setting up to hit the golf ball with the driver. So I've already teed it up. It's 1/2 to 3/4 of the way above the top line of my driver. I've got the ball off my right foot, check, or lead foot, and I'm going to create a little tilt by looking up at those clouds, those wispy clouds out in the distance, and then I'm going to give it the best swing that I can. Okay, now that we know how to set up when we hit the driver, let's get into a drill that's going to get us hitting the driver very efficiently. It'll be great for centeredness of contact, learning to put the club face onto the golf ball. And what I like to see with this, or what I'd like to have you do, especially if you're a beginner, but even if you're somebody who's been playing golf for a long time and you've just kind of lost it with the driver, this would be a great starting point to kind of get some confidence and get it back. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to get my setup again. You see I teed it 1/2 to 3/4 of the way above the top line of the driver here with my driver. I'm going to get it off my right foot, and I'm going to create a little bit of tilt, and I'm going to make 3 swings here, and I'm going to kind of work my way up. So the first swing is going to be what feels like a quarter swing to me. I'm going to show you some video, or you're going to watch it on the video as I go through this, and you're going to say, well, that wasn't a quarter swing. But in my mind, it feels like a quarter swing. And so I'm going to make this quarter swing, and I'm going to probably hit it out there, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 80 yards. Then I'm going to make a half swing, and it's going to go a little further, and then I'm going to make a 3/4 swing, and I'm going to work my way back up into a full swing. And as I said, it's a great way to kind of learn to put the club face onto the golf ball. And if you get to a certain point, like, hey, I'm good at the quarter and the half swing, but I'm terrible at the 3/4 and the full, then keep working on that 3/4 and then work your way back to the full. All right, so let's go through this. So setup is good, ball's teed up where I want it, ball's off my right foot, I've got a little bit of tilt. I'm just going to make a little quarter swing here. And yeah, that felt really solid, went very straight. So I'm going to tee up another one here, and I'm going to do more of what feels like a half swing. Ball's teed up properly again, so running my checklist, my setup checklist. Proper height with the ball on the tee. Ball's off my right foot. Got a little bit of tilt, so pointing those shoulders to the sky. I'm not leaning, I'm tilting. I'm gonna do a little half swing now. And that was good as well. Nice and straight. Could definitely feel it's coming out of the center of the club face. And if I struggled with that one, then I would stay here until I could get it. Now we're gonna go 3/4. Going through my checklist mentally now, not verbally. Everything's where I need it. Now 3/4 swing. Even better, nice and straight, more distance. And so I'm feeling pretty good with this. So the last one I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a nice full swing here. Putting everything together. Good setup, running through my checklist mentally here, and then giving it the best swing I can. So, if you're a beginner, even if you're an accomplished player, get these setup keys under control. If you need help finding the club face, just work your way through. Start with a 1/4 swing, go into a half, 3/4, full swing. If you have any issue at any point through that process, stay there until you get it, and then work on to the next step. So now you have 3 setup keys. Make sure that ball's nice and high on the tee. Get the ball towards your lead foot. Create a little bit of tilt, point those shoulders to the sky, and then a great drill to help you get that ball in the center of the club face. Learn to put the club face onto the golf ball, and it'll help you whether you're a beginner or whether you're an accomplished player. So I have 2 more videos up here right now that I promise will continue to help you improve your game. So remember, please like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, thank me, and comment.